Um,
Oh, it is.
yeah, just before. Sorry about that. Something popped up. Some icon popped up. Just before the pandemic, we went to Africa, and I took like 5 inoculations as it is, and it was like, all right, I know it's not the COVID vaccine, but I'm like, I'm just not really into putting too many stuff in my body. You know, I already took
Oh
like 5 vaccines
yeah.
before this whole thing. Now here comes some people, somebody else talking about I got to put this in my body now. So I'm like,
Need some more
just
light.
Oh yeah. Oh,
hey, how you doing?
thank you, Larry. Hi, welcome, Grammy trustee and musician, trombonist, singer extraordinaire, renowned
Oh,
producer.
get out of here.
Meet Grammy-winning international reggae act from the UK, Steel Pulse, and you met them at the Grammys when they
Oh,
were nominated
yeah.
for their last album, Mass Manipulation. So I present to you David Dread Hinds and David Hinds Jr., Baruch Hinds.
Hey, how you
Hey,
doing,
you
brother?
guys. Are
Hi,
we on
Larry.
now? Are we doing the interview now?
Yes, and you would.
Yeah.
So I'm going to back out, and Larry will be interviewing the two of you.
Well, give me a couple of minutes because I'm hot and bothered. I just ran in here. I've been in
All right.
traffic and stuff. I'm sorry for being late. Let me wipe off my sweat.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
How you guys doing?
All right. We're here waiting for you. You know, I'm laughing because I'm usually the one who's late for the game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
man. I
I'm
had
telling
all
you.
this time earlier and then stuff started happening.
Yeah. The story of my life.
Oh, man. How you guys doing okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, we could
definitely.
be better, but we give thanks.
Good. Hey, I've been really just listening to all your hits and stuff, man. And you're such a prolific writer. My God, it's just incredible. I love it, man. God is so good that we're able to do this. You know,
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
it's really a blessing. So, Sheila,
Yes.
and are we talking to an audience? I thought what I would do is just say who I am and give them a little bit of their bio and then start asking them questions.
Yeah, sure. That's good.
Is that
That's
good?
how you normally do.
And you're
Give
gonna
us
like,
that, Larry. Give us that, Larry Batiste goals.
you look so good. You should be on here.
Oh no. I'm working for them, so I'm background noise. So.
Oh man, you guys, this is a great album, man. I've been studying the record. It's so incredible. I'm so honored to do this. So okay, I'll get started. And while they're talking, I'll wipe the sweat off of me.
All right.
Good.
So you said what?
Larry also has the most fabulous collection of hats in the Bay Area.
Oh
He and
yeah.
Oh, I
Carlos-
hear that.
Nice.
I need an endorsement is what I need.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyway, here you go. My name is Larry Batiste, and I'm honored for this opportunity to have a conversation with reggae royalty and advocates for all things good, healthy, and loving. Members of the legendary reggae group Steel Pulse, co-founder and visionary David Hinds, and his brilliant son, Baruch Hinds. I said that right, Baruch?
Yes.
Ah, excellent. Steel Pulse is one of reggae's most in-demand touring acts. The group earned a Grammy Award for their 1985 album, Babylon the Bandit, as well as a nomination in 2020 for their latest 2019 release, Mass Manipulation, for Best Reggae Album. They've earned many accolades, too many to mention in this setting, and much respect as pioneers and trailblazers in music. From the beginning in 1975, Steel Pulse quickly established themselves as a protest band, taking on revolutionary and controversial topics of political, global human injustices, promoting peace, love, and opposition to racist acts, with hits such as Ku Klux Klan, Your House, Bodyguard, Chant a Psalm, Rally Round, Door of No Return, Tightrope, Don't Give In. Oh, it's a lot. Save Black Music, Taxi Driver, Global Warning, Put Your Hoodies On for Trayvon, and so many more, plus hits from the latest album, including Stop You Coming and Come, and Cry Cry Blood. They've been thrilling audiences all over the world for almost 4 decades, injecting people with music, medicine, and joy wherever they go. Please welcome David and Baruch Hinds. How are you guys?
Great, man.
Right, Larry. What a write-up, man. You're on point.
Hey man, I didn't have enough time. I need a scroll for all this.
You did a wonderful job, man. Even I forgot I had all those songs.
Hey, so look, I just really applaud your commitment to making music that make people think and feel good, and bettering mankind. I really love it. So first, Sir David, revolutionary and empowering of words I hear all the time when people are describing the music of Steel Pulse. Was that a deliberate effort on your part and your co-founder?
Well, to be fair, we thought we had something to say. I mean, we've been raised listening to reggae music all our lives, but it was always on a light note, so to speak. And then when the Rastafarian movement came in as a movement, and started to talk about, repatriation back to Africa and all the political issues that are around it. And then you had icons like Third World, Bob Marley and the Wailers, Burning Spear, just to name a few, that were saying things in their songs that were politically orientated. We thought we had something to say from our standpoint, living in England.
Yes, that's Baruch. Hey,
Baruch.
Baruch, brother, what was it like for you living up with a legend as your father and watching all these great musicians? Did you know that you would eventually become one of them?
After a while, I did. I've been around it since a baby, so just growing up around all that different bands, like how my dad mentioned Third World. Too many to name, man.
Yeah.
I really started like getting into it, like I would say I was actually rapping until I was like really like officially 18, That's when I know this is what I really wanted to do. But before then, I've been around it my whole life, so it was just like kind of natural to me, so to speak,
All right. You just knew you were just supposed to slide on in that position, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Larry, he took us for granted, man. And people tapped him on the shoulder and says, "You know who these guys are?" Really?
Oh man, most of the new album, it really centers around freedom and unity. And we'll talk more about the album later, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Juneteenth, Freedom Day, finally being declared a holiday in the United States. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm delighted that, I call it one step moving forward, because, the last recognized federal holiday has been Martin Luther King Day, which was almost a good part of 25, 30, 35 years ago. So it's a good step in the right direction, especially in light of what's been happening over the past say 5 to 10 years, which involve a lot of police brutality and shootings, with young black male youths out there. And to know that Juneteenth, got recognized, and what it stands for, I think the whole world needs to still understand where it's coming from. It's all about the slaves not being aware that they were free.
Yeah.
Although there was a decree, there was a ratification of a documentation that took place, and it was never acknowledged until a particular time. And, a lot of things people don't realize that after Juneteenth itself was actually official, June 19th, 1865, it still was not put into total practice until the very end of that year. So, it was a good part of 3 years before it got recognized in its proper context.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, it almost feels like the same thing is going on now, always keeping us in the dark or trying to, but I'm so glad that people are getting woke, that we're figuring this thing out. Now, about the group, now the group's been together for like almost 40 years. It's been 40 years, and each project seems to get stronger and stronger and more powerfully explosive, more than the previous one. You know, how do you keep the fire? You know, can you believe that you've been around this long? How do you keep that up?
Well, to be fair there, Larry, we've always thought that what we've done as products has been strong. And there was a period of our time in our lives in the mid-80s where reggae music, after Bob Marley passed away, took a dive as far as what the political sentiments were about. So a lot of the bands, wait a minute, Marley's dead, and they're not adhering to the political side of the thing, the spiritual side of the thing. Let's go pop, let's go funky, let's go whatever it takes and whatever it took to keep the music alive. And unfortunately, we joined that bandwagon as well at that time, just all about keeping the music alive. So we did albums that was mixed and blend as far as commercial products. But when we performed live, it was not happening like that live. We were straight up politically orientated. And then when we saw that failed, we just went back to what we did anyway. And to know that we moved from strength to strength and that we gained all the audience that we lost because we made that negative transition, you know, I feel I feel we've achieved something, and delighted and proud that the people have acknowledged Still Pulse and the transition that we've made, and also the fact that we're stronger than ever before, like you've just said. So yes, I'm delighted that we're on that wagon now.
Yeah, I guess it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. That's what I wish someone tapped me on the shoulder saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. 30 odd years ago when it happened, that's what we did, and it knocked us back a few, you know, a few feet, you know, and but we're back on track.
Yeah, you had it right the first time.
Yes,
you are such a prolific writer, man. And, you know, I'm a songwriter, and I really just respect your work.
Thank you.
You have a way, all your songs connect, you know, with the audience. You know, the whole combination of music, you know, lyric and arrangement, you know, especially the background vocals arrangement, man, that shit is on hook. I mean, it's you know, it's really on hit. So what's your writing process? Like, you just you hear the words first, you hear the music, does it all come together at the same time? What's your process?
It varies. It varies on what's out there in the air as far as news, and what's out there in the air as far as how people are relating to each other. And I tend to write songs at a particular time of the day. And it's usually early hours of the morning when I get time to, when everybody's asleep, and I get time to hear my own chest heaving with breathing and me being me by myself and reflecting on all the things I've experienced. So sometimes the lyrics will come as a set of words, then I try to put music to it. And usually that's the hard way to go, because you find, but whereas you got the music, then it starts to trigger the melodies like you think you need to let the music, to let the song work. Then once you've triggered the music and the melodies, then you got to have the words trying to fit that melody. So it's a bit of a conundrum sometimes. But a lot of the times, you know, I mean, if you tell me what particular song, like Ravers, for example, which is a song that we did on the True Democracy album, it was the groove that came first. I'm saying, and then the idea was always there based on the groove. And once I got the idea, then I incorporated the lyrics based on the idea and the groove. Now, Wild Goose Chase, now the lyrics were there first. What I'm saying. So I had to create a mood for the lyrics I was putting together.
Yeah, I can see how you can hear that title. You know, you visualize that. Yes. Yeah. Now, do you mainly write by yourself, or do you collaborate with what do you prefer?
98% of the time I'm writing by myself. There's only one song really that we wrote where it was a collaboration, and you know what, I could immediately recollect, and it was Macca Splaff, you know, Mr. Collie man wants some herb to smoke tonight, and the other one is Mr. Collie man marijuana to smoke tonight, and so everybody sort of threw their 2 cents in. But generally I usually have a, you know, the lyrics pretty much rounded up, completed, and then, you know, the band members listen to it, and we interpret the songs the way we think suits the melody.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor growing up, or influenced by? I heard you mention Bob Marley and stuff. Well, you can't get no better than that. Did you have people around you in music, your parents or your friends or whatever?
Well, although I had members of my immediate family that were musicians, i.e., but we're talking about people that were conservative orientated. Like my mother's sister was a music teacher in Jamaica. I wasn't born in Jamaica, so he could never be my influence, if you see what I'm saying. But Marley, I do remember while we were learning to play our instruments, the original lead guitarist was the one who actually placed the guitars in their hand and said, "This is what I want you to do while I do this." And, you know, the other one could do that. And he also had an elder cousin that was, you know, when I say elder, he right now is still alive. He'll be in his late 70s, if not approaching 80 by now, who had his own band and saw the potential in us. So that was an immediate, I can touch you sort of mentor. But you know, when I developed my lyrics, Marley was a big influence. Gil Scott-Heron was also, you know, a major influence in how I perceive things. I mean, he taught me so much about America, you know, that I started to write songs with America in mind, what I'm saying. So so he was a major influence. And as I got into the 90s, you know, I was introduced to Bob Dylan, although Bob Dylan's been around since the 60s. But, you know, where I was coming from within my, you know, lifestyle, Bob Dylan was not the kind of artist that was exposed to me. And then after I'm listening and doing songs and someone says, "Hey, Bob Dylan wrote a song like that." I says, "What?" You know, little songs, like George Jackson, when I did George Jackson in 1979, it says, "There's a guy called Bob Dylan did a song about George Jackson too." So I start taking and listening to his version, and I'm liking it. And I'm start listening to everything that he's done, and I'm liking it. You know, another person who I respect as a lyricist as well has been Sting from the Police. As well. So where a lot of people listen to songs and listen to the groove and everything, I'm paying attention to how they're delivering their lyrics and what they've got to say.
Yeah, and it really shows because you really connect. And I think that's what songwriting is all about, connecting to the audience, because without them there's nothing. So like, you know, so I'm glad you see you keep them in mind. You kind of test the temperature of the day and what's trending and what people are talking about for that connection is really cool. Now you don't do many covers. You're such a writer. I can see why you don't do many covers. But on this latest album, you did the Steve Winwood tune, Our Love, Rasta Love. And it's such a fun video and arrangement and stuff. What gave you the idea to record that?
Well, there's a friend of mine in San Diego that put me to the test. I'm sure if you wrote this song, man, you could go somewhere and all that. If you sort of, you know, did a spin on this song, it'll go somewhere. And I said, yeah. And I said, yeah, for a number of years while the album was written, because the album was written over easy 8-year period, because, you know, until we got the finance to record it all, we had to keep going out there on the road and making that money. So once I completed the album, I had about 14 songs, and just thought that the album needed something to complete it, as far as, you know, we've spoken about politics, prejudice, police brutality, all these things, you know, that were all the hallmarks of what Steel was about. But we wanted to have something that had a sense of alliteration and that emphasized the word peace and prosperity. And Higher was a song that came to mind based on a conversation that I had with one of my friends. I says, let me put this thing into practice. And as I started to persevere with this particular song, you know, it started to dawn on me that Steve Winwood was from the same neck of the woods where I was born.
Wow, I didn't realize.
Walked the same streets that I walked and everything else. So we reached out to Steve Winwood to see if he could be on the album. But, you know, his management said he was in semi-retirement. It never happened. So we went ahead and did the song anyway. So I sort of also wanted a collaboration with other acts, like the Revivalist, the lead singer for the Revivalist, but they sort of were occupied, couldn't do it. And I looked and I said to myself, gosh, let me have my son So how is he going to interpret it?
I was going to say that is the best collaboration you could have ever done, because people would have expected Sting or someone else. You put Baruch on that thing, he just killed it. You know,
I'm telling you, Larry, it was right there, already there under my nose, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, sometimes what you're looking for is right in your own backyard. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of that, you also have another song, World Gone Bad, which he's featured on. And I'm going like, okay, this is the start of something big. It's just huge. Do you see yourself doing, and the Grammy Award categories, we just added rap song collaboration, which is the same thing that you guys did. It's kind of a new category this year.
Okay.
Do you see yourself doing more collaborations like this in the future with
with who?
Songs like this with your
yes. Well, funny you should say that. You talk about collaborations. We did a dub version of Don't Shoot.
Okay.
We recently he just finished recording his rap version of how he interprets all those killings and everything that's been going on across the states. And I find it hard to believe it's my son. You know, I mean, the lyrics that he's come down with, I'm saying, hey, wait a minute. I've just never known him to be like that, because what he usually writes is far removed from what I'm hearing on this particular track that he's done. And I'm only hoping that he does more of it where it's politically orientated and where it sort of charges and be thought provocative for those who are inclined to listen to Steel Pulse's music, and let him be an extension to what we've been about. And that's what I'd like to happen in his career.
Yeah, well, I'm not that surprised that your son could come up, because genius is in his DNA. He had no choice. He had to be a genius. He had to be prolific. You know what I'm saying? So, that's incredible. I'm really glad to hear that. Now, I know you put out this album, in 2019?
That's right.
Now, in between albums, it was like 14, 15 years?
Easily, man. Easily.
My goodness. So what was happening during that time? Were you writing? Were you touring? What were you just having?
It was mostly touring. We never had a studio of our own to record out of. No major labels to be clinging onto for for that with that advance of several dollars to record an album. It was like time out, changing the band around. Other issues that were taking place at the time. And so that's the reason for the long hiatus, basically. Those multiple
things. Now, you mentioned no major label, and this album comes out on Root Fire Cooperative.
Right.
Tell me about that. What is that?
Well, Root Fire Cooperative is really, it's almost on a non-profit organizational basis, where they came with a deal which I couldn't really refuse at that time. Simply because the typical major record label advancements has always been about it's payback time. And they lend you all this money, and when you look at it all, at the end of the day, all they've been is a bank. And then you've parted with your publishing, you've parted with the rights to your songs, and the whole shebang. So that's another reason why we took time out to take such a long time to record this album, because we had to really see where things are at. And then Root Fire Cooperative came and says, guess what, guys? We can give you some money to promote this stuff. And guess what? All you need to do is give us back, and we're not going to hang on to your publishing. We're not going to hang on to your, all these things that the normal record companies do. It says, are you real? Are you serious?
Right.
And they said, yeah, we're serious. And that's what happened. We went about it that way.
Right. Now this album, that makes sense. It's almost like they were like God sent, right?
Yeah.
They just that's what everybody's looking for, especially in our business. Do they have a lot of other acts on there? Do they have a lot of other people too?
Well, they're part of a company called Ineffable.
Okay.
Right. So that I know they're probably managing Stick Figure, and I think they had a band called the Elevators. Because they're also management and also promotional. It's like a conglomerate of entities. They're part of festivals that are running, along California and so on and so forth. So yes, they do have acts, but I don't think any of them is of our caliber, so to speak. So they took to try and make it work for us, so to speak.
Well, you guys are legendary. Now, how long did it take you to record? How long you been working on this album, Mass Manipulation?
Let me be fair. We took easily 8 years.
Good.
And it was all about recording the songs. And then Mass Manipulation has 17 songs, where 2 of them are actually renditions or reprieves and reprises, you know, like where you sort of give, you know, instrumentals and stuff. But there have been several other songs written at the same time as well that we sort of kicked to the curb after a while, you know, once we started to get the title and the vibe of the album going.
Right.
You know, we making all the songs correlate with each other, you know, just like in the old days where an album was built on a concept, not just throwing 10 tracks together and say, there you go, and let's hope for the best sort of thing.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I was feeling that too, in terms of I could feel it was a concept, you know, all the songs that really connect together and stuff with your message. And was that the inspiration? What was the inspiration? And how did you title the album? How did you come about that?
Well, the title of the album, there's a friend of mine back in New York that was, they're a bit of a conspiracy theorist, and they had some lyrics together, and it says, David, see what you can do with these. So they sent me the lyrics and stuff, and I took it, and I kept saying, this is like, you know, and lots of words are used within the lyrical content of the thing based on their conspiracy theory. And I'm saying this thing feels like it's a mass manipulation going on. And the more the world was unfolding itself, and where people have been suckered into what the media has to say, and what the, you know, these elite and these governmental infrastructures had to be saying, the more I saw mass manipulation had to be the title of this album.
Right.
So that's how we got that on.
Yeah. This album, and you've included your son on this album in these couple of cuts. You know, it seems, do you feel like you're reaching a younger, a more diverse audience? You see the more, Baruch.
Yes, sir.
What are you thinking, man? You gonna inject some youth? And,
yeah, you know? Yeah, definitely, man. I'm giving it the youthful approach, you know, and letting them see that, especially like how my dad kind of mentioned like earlier, a few minutes ago, when he said that's like not the normal stuff that I write. So a lot of these young kids are used to the ratchet stuff, you know what I mean? And like, I'm coming with the conscious approach on those songs.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think what you need to do when your dad is, you know, writing his music, you need to just sneak in that room. And
I'll be seeing some of the lyric papers around. I'll be seeing them in progress.
Get in on some of that music. Do you play any instrument?
I know how to play drums a little bit.
Okay, all right. All right, that's all good. That's just really good. You know, I think for this album really touches every aspect of life, you know, the good, bad, and the ugly, you know, and it really inspires people. You know, I think that has always been, seems like when I listen to, going back to, oh, and by the way, I was going to say, what's the song that I used to use? Handsworth Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
That song, you know, when I was directing the Grammy Awards pre-telecast, that was one of my walk-on songs for the reggae category. Okay. And everybody used to love that song, and it's just really powerful, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really what you guys doing is great. Now, is there another live album coming up? You
know, this up and coming tour that we're doing, this Vibes tour. There might be a live album coming out of that.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's gonna be
last one.
What's that?
What was the last live album?
The last live one was 1996.
Wow. Was that the Living Legacy one, or?
That's the one. Man,
okay, all right.
You're so clued up, man. Yes, Living Legacy. So it's well overdue. The new songs from the Mass Manipulation album needs to be exercised and, you know, on the platform and see how it's interpreted and all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Okay, because I know your live stuff is just way, your studio recorded albums are great, but I know live, you guys just take it up a whole nother
Yeah.
level, and people need to experience that. People want to take that experience home with them, so I look forward to that. We need to make that happen for sure. Now, you spoke about your tour and the album, and I know you're happy to get back on the road, and your fans are even more excited to see and hear you. Tell us about this new tour coming up. When is it starting in?
Well, the tour is starting officially August the 5th.
Okay.
On the West Coast. And it's actually a tour that's where Revolution is actually headlining. And it's us with the Green, band called The Green, and there's another band called Kismandi, something like that. They're from out of Jamaica. I'm not that familiar with them.
Yeah.
But they're we're expected to do at least 45 dates across the US.
Nice.
Yeah, man. It's going to be grueling. It's going to be hard. And, we're hoping to keep out of the way of COVID at the same time.
Oh, my God. I heard that. Now, you guys, although you guys are not headlining, I've been to a couple of your shows where, after you guys came on, I was ready to go home. Show over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've heard.
So tell me, who's in the band?
Well, the lineup currently, it's a very good question. Because of the COVID, there's a few band members that we probably had to shift around because some of them had to get work elsewhere, stuff like that. But the general current lineup is myself, on guitar and vocals, Selwyn Brown and keyboards and vocals, one of the original band members. Then there's C Sharp, Wayne Clark, his name is, on drums from out of Jamaica. David Elisiri from the San Diego region. Then there's Stephen Bradley on horns. Who else am I missing out? Amlak Tafari on bass. Everybody knows Amlak Tafari.
Yes.
And we're in two minds about who we're going to use as another horn player. Because of what I'm telling you, some of them had to desperately find work to survive. What I'm telling you right now is that it's the general lineup that's there, and that has been there for a number of years now.
Very cool. You guys had a guy named Clark Gayton playing trombone.
Right.
He was an old friend of mine. He used to live in the Bay Area.
I'm telling you, Clark Gayton, one of the most amazing players that ever come to Steel Pulse.
Yeah.
He was kind of weird, but weird in a great kind of. You see what I'm saying?
Most geniuses are a little out,
Yeah, what's that?
Most geniuses are a little out.
Yeah. Disciplined. I've never seen anyone so disciplined like this guy, man. It's amazing. His performances spoke for themselves. His accuracy on the trombone.
Yes, he's badass.
Yeah.
So what did you miss most about touring on this pandemic thing?
What I miss most about touring, I'm the kind of a guy that likes to be informative. And being informative means watching a lot of TV, like an American TV. Where I'm at is more like French orientated, and I'm not that versed in speaking another language, so that's what I miss most, the communication skills that in another TV show. I know a lot of these things you can watch on the internet, but it doesn't feel the same like when you're in a hotel room, and passing time, and then it sort of stimulates and triggers your juices in your brain to go on stage and echo what you've just seen on TV, sort of thing, and that kind of. So I miss that a lot. I miss the reenactment and the enactment with fans that have got a story to tell about their environment. So I sort of miss that in a sense. So those are the things I generally miss.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what you look forward to most, about touring, but I think you kind of answered that question. Oh, you have anything more to add to that? What you look forward to?
To me, myself, yeah. What I look forward to is just being around good people. because people always want to come up and have conversations and stuff. And so those one of the things that I miss. And it also gives me time to network and run into, different entities. And
Right.
also you catch a lot of joke on tour too, man. So I think those are one of the things that I miss, some of the things that I miss. Sorry.
I'd imagine you guys are like a family on tour. You got a lot
Yeah,
of
definitely.
jokes, a lot of stories. I remember when I was touring, there was so many stories. We got books in us, you can write a book on that side. Have you ever thought about like doing a podcast or something where people could follow you while you out on the road? Because that would be really interesting. It'd be almost like a real musician's reality show. Have you thought about doing something like that?
That's never really crossed my mind. It sounds like a good idea though. Podcast,
No,
yeah.
It's
But
funny
not
that
while
you
I'm
said
on
that.
road 24/7, because I usually like to rest in between dates. I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. So, but good idea. Even if it's for 15 minutes, I think that'd be nice.
Baruch, what you getting ready to say?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wasn't trying to interrupt, man. I'm
No.
about to say it's funny that you said that because I kind of had that in mind to do that for this up and coming tour. Because since the pandemic, I have a friend of mine named Carlos. He goes by the name of Jalos, who I've been doing shows with around the area, and we're getting ready to open up for Bone Thugs and Harmony July 15th. But we have like a podcast thing that I do in my garage called Feel Good Friday, and we've been just bringing on different acts that's around the local area and people who got a story to tell. We talk about marijuana, life, music, this different topics, man. And we vibe off each other. So I was actually, since I'm not going to be around him on this tour, I was thinking about doing something on my own. So it's funny that you said that.
That's incredible, because I had it in the back of my mind. Is there a solo album coming up from you?
Myself, well, not a particular put together project. I would say I do have a EP that I sell. It's called it's just a couple of tracks called Princess Still, basically. And I have just like a couple of songs, like 5 songs or so. Nice. But I never really like, and my girlfriend put that together, you know what I mean? I never really like, I just been working on songs over time. I haven't really put together a particular one-piece project, if that makes sense, you know?
Well, yeah, I think it's time. And you just don't happen to have a genius for a father. He could probably throw in a few tracks, do a little collaboration, it could be
I got a bunch of songs that I've done. So I mean, if you put them all together, like I said, the little EP that I have, you can call that an album.
It could happen, yeah, So anyway, that's all good. Well, look, I think that's all. Give me the tour dates again, and everybody, please pick up the album Mass Manipulation. Is there a new album coming out? Are you working on something new, or?
All it is been like the tracks and songs put aside, and that will come once I'm vibing again, maybe on the road, things like that. Once I'm other musicians and stuff.
I think this album though could last a bit.
Yeah,
I look at the song, Stop You Coming, Cry Up, Don't Shoot, I Got My Hands Up, Rise. You know what I mean? You got the covers. You got this album could last pretty. You got some length on this one.
Yeah, we got the rest of the world to hear it. I mean, South America's yet to hear it live.
Yeah.
Europe is yet to hear it live. The Australia's yet to hear it live. So we it's still got some mileage. I'd say once, but it's not going to stop us from writing in the meantime.
Absolutely.
We don't want another 9 years to pass by before another album, is what I'm saying. So it's going to be.
Yeah. But when someone once told me, timeless songs take time. So you just take your time.
All right.
Take your time, get it right, get all the ingredients, make sure it's all seasoned right. And when it's, when the meal is ready, you serve it. So all good. Well, look, you guys, it's been really great. Thank you so much. It's an honor. So glad you guys could spend this time with me and letting us get to know you better. And we thank you.
Oh, man,
All right.
thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us and for your support.
You got it. And everybody who's listening out there, please pick up the album and look out for Still Post coming to a city near you. God bless.
Yes, sir.
All right.